So we're recording. All right, it's 11:11, so I'm going to go and we're Facebook Live, right?
Yep.
Live on Facebook.
Let me know when we're going.
I think we're already going because
Hello, real one.
There we go. Hello.
We're always
Let's see.
graceful at our coming into this thing.
We are learning.
We are learning. Did you see a thing that said?
Sharing a group.
Okay. Oh, I got wind.
The real ones.
I'm just looking for the
there we go.
That we're up.
Okay, I'm sure that we are recording now. Welcome everybody to our Facebook Live.
Yay, happy Monday.
Yes. And we're going to keep saying that because it's saying preparing live video, but I think it goes live already.
Okay. So maybe people could let us know. That would be great. If there's anybody on, if you could let us know. I'm just looking for the post from this morning because we did get some questions. So that was really awesome.
Okay. So the real ones.
I'm telling you, we need some kind of song or something.
That's a good idea.
To make the beginning of this more enjoyable. Okay, here we go. I got it. Oh, okay. Did have it. Facebook. All right. Well, today we're talking about holiday stress, and I think that I have seriously worked through a lot of holiday stress. And
are we live? Are you?
I have no idea. No,
I haven't pressed the go live button yet, and I don't know why.
Okay. Well, you can do that when you're ready.
There we go. I think it's going.
Okay.
Okay. I think we are live now because I pressed the go live button. So welcome everybody.
It's now streaming live on Facebook. Yes. Hello.
Okay, good. Yeah, we just want to tell everybody that this whole Facebook Live, it's a little like we're finding our way of how to do it more gracefully.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we're sliding into base or something when we do this. It's like,
yes,
we made it.
Yes, exactly.
So we have 748 members in 1 week. I am super excited. I can't believe we started this only a week ago. I feel like
it's been 2 weeks.
Has it been 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
We started on 11/11, and today's the 25th.
Okay, so it has been 2 weeks because I was like,
time warp.
I know.
But still, 700 plus members in 2 weeks is a lot.
Pretty cool. And keep sharing it.
Yeah, definitely share with your friends. I mean, this is definitely a place for like-minded individuals, and we've been getting so many comments about just how much it's been helping people keep their vibe up and be in a positive atmosphere, especially right now. It's so funny because I do not listen to the news and I have no idea what's going on with the hearings and what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And people are just like, oh my gosh, and I hear this and I'm like, I'm in my own little bubble. And especially with our real ones, I'm just so happy and I don't need to know any of that.
Well, and that's funny because a lot of people feel like they need to be in the know. And I know we've talked about not watching the news, but as far as being in the know, it's like if you're allowing a lot of gloom and doom into your experience, are you able to hold your vibration in that gloom and doom? Or can we just get to a place of joy and love where we're just sharing that and sharing that high vibration, and then this other stuff, because we're not focusing on it, it's not expanding, and maybe that's what's going to help our world to really shift.
Yeah, and I truly believe that. I'll just say it because I know there's a lot of people that think, I'm being an idiot by sticking my head in the stand and not being a Pollyanna and looking through rose-colored glasses. But guess what? I'm creating my life. I mean, this morning, I'm so excited. I just have to tell you, I just went to my first yoga in studio class in probably 2 years. And I nearly burst into tears out of gratitude of being with like-minded people, doing a yoga flow together, and just that energy of just connectedness and we're all on the same page. And that's what I feel about the real ones group. I mean, I just feel so happy. And even though I haven't posted much, I've been running around crazy, but I love jumping in and seeing everybody's posts and everybody's gratitudes. And it just makes me feel so good. And then after class, I walked out and there's Haleakala right there in front of me. And I just nearly burst into tears and because of just gratitude, right? And then I get in my car and I'm driving back to my house and I see the whole ocean right in front of me. And I'm just like, you know, this is how to live life. I don't need to watch the news. I don't need to know, unless I can do something about it, right?
Exactly.
Unless I'm going to go and, you know, go to the hearings or go, I don't know, like if there's something you can do about it, do it, but don't let it infiltrate your life and bring you down
and wreak havoc. It really wreaks havoc. And I think what you're sharing, and the idea of just being in this high vibration where we are setting ourselves up vibrationally every single day to have more joy, more joy, more joy. Like, people think it's not possible. I think a lot of times when you look at positivity, you know, it gets this rap of like, oh, that's just, you know, you're just being, you know, you're just being not real. You know, you're not being authentic in your positivity crap. And the truth is, like, the more positive and the more you focus on the positive, the more it expands in your life. And then it's just like it's more and more, and it gets better and it gets better and it gets better. So, you know, we've got a plan. Lisa and I have a plan. We've got a plan to help you guys set a foundation right now for 2020 so that you can step into 2020 fully aligned at this high vibrational state and start experiencing what we've been experiencing for, I would say, you know, a good couple years now.
Absolutely.
You know, with contrasts in between and changes and challenges, but finding our footing in all of that. So it's not what happens to you, it's how you respond to it. And the way you respond to it, when you can respond in a way that's somewhat vibrationally stable, then your problems aren't really problems anymore. They're just things to navigate.
Absolutely. And what I love so much about the work that we've done back and forth together is we have ideas and techniques to shift out of that. You know, like this morning I woke up and I was just kind of like ho hum and oh my God, like what, like I still,
like, it's Monday.
I'm like, yeah, it's Monday. I'm like, you know, what am I doing? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do something different today. I've got time to go to this yoga class. I'm going to go. And it shifted me out of that like humdrum, you know, like just feeling routine, that kind of routine. And again, those neural pathways, right? I mean, you talk about that, like we have these you know, pathways in our brain that, you know, it's like a habit. It's like a bad habit. Or I love what you say is you know, you go down the bad neighborhood and you're just wandering around down there. It's like, get out of the bad neighborhood.
You drive into the bad neighborhood and you get out of your car. And I'm like, you wouldn't do that. You would keep driving. But in our minds, it's easy to get out of the car and sit there and hang out with the people in the bad neighborhood, like your bad thoughts.
Yes. Yeah. So I love it. So tip number 1 is if you are just feeling down and just not good, and like do something that you love. Like I love yoga, and I went to a new place, which was kind of, you know, scary. And like, I didn't know who was going to be there and what the level was.
There's all that anxiety, like a little bit of anxiety and newness.
Right. And it's, pushing through the inertia of just, you know, doing the same old. And wow, like, I'm so excited. I want to go every single day now, you know, and and there's a whole new group of people to like hang out with. And
now, would you say that you acted on an inspired thought there this morning?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So that's your intuition talking to you, and you listened, and now you have this new place to go that's fun and exciting. So that's part of it, is listening to the intuition.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. And I know so many people, and me included, like you hear a thought, you hear an idea, and then you kind of
you let your mind talk you out of it.
Yeah.
And moving your body. So moving your body, they say move a muscle, change a thought. Always moving your body, whether you go for a walk, a run, yoga, whatever it is to move your body. Moving your body gets energy out of your body. So if you're feeling yucky, the best thing you can do is some sort of exercise, some kind of
and even Tony Robbins, I mean, even just like get up out of your chair and just start jumping and just move the energy.
Shaking is actually a thing in Qigong. We did this actually at the last little mini retreat that I did. We did a whole thing of shaking, where we were just shaking our body for a couple of minutes. And when you stop, like you're just standing up and you're just shaking everything you can. When you stop, you can feel a buzzing in your body because you've moved energy out of your body. I saw a lady doing this the other day walking down the street, and she was Asian. And my husband was like, that's Qigong. I'm like, she's shaking it out. I thought that was so cool.
That is so cool. What the yoga teacher this morning was saying, that you know, we are energy bodies that are encased, you know, in this physical crystallized form. And I love that idea. I love that we are crystallized form of energy. And so literally when we move our body, not only is it our physical body that's moving, but it's the energy within us that's moving this crystalline form. And I just was like, that's such a cool new thought,
It's so cool. And also to think of ourselves as light beings. We're actually light beings, like made of light. And the only reason why we become heavy and take on weight is because we have these heavy emotions and we don't move energy. We push our emotions down with food and alcohol and drugs, and we don't address the underlying emotions. And when you start to address the underlying emotions, you start to get lighter. You start to want to eat lighter. You just want to move your body. So we've really never been taught to deal in our emotional fields, and it's so important to get back to that base of essence of our light bodies.
Absolutely. And another thought on that is everything we do in life is medicine, whether we eat food, whether we drink alcohol, whether we do meditation or yoga or move our body. It's all medicine for this body, this crystallized form that we are. So there's a difference between medicine and poison. So you always want to make sure that you, for your own self, like take what is good and what is medicine for you that's going to propel you into a positive state rather than one of poisoning yourself. Because even like at yoga, I could have overdone it today. I mean, I'm a good yogi, but they were pushing it to places where I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to go there because I'm going to hurt myself. And I'm excited that I've got more room to grow, and not.
But I have nothing to prove.
But right, I have nothing to prove, and it's all about me. And the same, again, we'll have another talk about alcohol someday. Yeah. But for me, it's pure poison. I can't do it anymore, and it's just
a conversation about alcohol is coming.
Yeah, it's coming. It's a big one.
I've had an interesting relationship. Yeah, I'd like a couple weeks because I'm working through some stuff that's pretty epic right now.
Yeah, and again, no judgment. Yeah, like it's all good. There's
times in my life when alcohol has been the best medicine. I have to say.
That's right.
Not so
Which
much
brings us to the holidays, because the holidays are upon us. I mean, Thursday is Thanksgiving. Absolutely. And then which rolls right into, the Christmas holiday and all the other holidays at end of December. And you threw out some question about people. So should we jump into that?
Yeah. So what inspired me to want to do this today is I realized yesterday when I was driving around just how excited I am for the holidays this year. And I had gone through this little thing about Thanksgiving because, so I have a daughter in Connecticut. I have a daughter in Phoenix with my grandbaby, a daughter and her husband in Connecticut. And then my little ones are here. They're 18 and 16. They're so not little anymore. And so it's just going to be the four of us. And in the past, if I wanted to create from past experience, the holidays with just the four of us have been very challenging. We feel just the lackful energy of having family around. We used to have 40 people to our house every holiday for like 20 years. So I made a decision a couple of weeks ago that I would make it really special for just the four of us. So my daughters are going to cook the sides, and my husband and I are going to do the turkey and the mashed potatoes, and we're just going to have this really nice meal together and connect. And just driving around yesterday, I felt like, wow, I really shifted that because I was feeling like, ooh, I'm a little afraid of Thanksgiving. I actually considered going to Disneyland because I'm like, we're going to go to the happiest place on earth. But then I looked up these stats on that, and that's not a good idea. So I love that I was able to say, hey, I'm going to be in my home, and we're going to have a fire and football, and we're just going to enjoy each other's company. So I think there's a story around the holidays, that it has to be a ton of people for it to be enjoyable. B, there's got to be a ton of food and we have to overeat. Like that's another social programming. It's like through your life, holidays are going to ebb and flow. They're going to change, right? Like your holidays are totally different than they used to be, right? And you're doing a Friendsgiving, which is so cool. I love Friends.
I'm so excited.
It's the people you actually have Thanksgiving dinner with.
Right.
So it came to me like there's so much holiday stress and it is so unnecessary. So we're going to help you guys shift that if you are feeling stressed. And we do have some people. So Paul Amon said, when my family asks me how it's going, I mean, really, what do I say? Now, I don't know a lot about Paul, but I do know that he's having some physical challenges. So what do you say if your life, this is great for people who maybe, haven't found a significant other and they have family members always asking about that, or, maybe you haven't gotten pregnant yet, or, maybe your life just hasn't moved as fast as like
you haven't gotten a job yet, or you're exactly. I know. kids, like my kids when they were in college, everyone's like, what are you going to do when you graduate? It's like, don't ask me these questions.
Exactly. So it's like, what do you say when you're put on the spot?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you share from a place of where it's not going to go down like that into that bad neighborhood with your relatives
Mm-hmm.
who have an expectation of you that has nothing to do with really who you are or what you're trying to create. So what would you say to
Mm-hmm.
that, Lisa?
Well, it's so interesting because the first thing that popped into my head is ask them, oh, so why are you asking? And just
For
put it back, because
background.
I think, talk about social programming. We are programmed to answer a question. When somebody asks us a question, we are like from young children told, you must answer and you
And to
tell the
answer it
truth.
fast. Like you can't
And
even
fast.
take a moment to like have space and think about your answer. It's got to be fast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So first of all, if, I would prepare yourself if you're not wanting to share certain things about where you are in your life right now, just be prepared. And if people ask you an invasive question that you feel isn't something that you want to answer, just say like, oh, I'm curious why you ask, or, what, tell me more about, why you're asking that question.
Yeah.
Because it gives you a chance to think, and it kind of puts it back on them, because a lot of times people are just frankly being nosy and kind of unconscious maybe about them asking. So that's the first thought I had. How about you? What's your thoughts?
I was thinking that if it, it would be a great thing, I think, for Paul and for a lot of people to get clear on where they're going. So there's no reason to bring the person who's been where they are and possibly isn't happy about it. If Paul doesn't feel comfortable to talk about where he's been, then that means he's not happy where he's been. So it's time to take that turn and say, okay, I'm going to decide that this is where I'm going. So it's like, well, I'm moving forward on some projects and I'm excited about it. So it's like getting really clear about what you want to create and talking about that, talking about
Mm,
the excitement of that. And if you don't have a family that's supportive and you feel like they're just going to take that away from you, kill your dream, because people do that. Then again, like Lisa said, I like the idea of turning the questions back if it's something that you don't want to answer. And you don't have to answer any question that you're not comfortable with or one that you feel will spark a bunch of negativity within you or your family members.
yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that. And in fact, recently, I forget what was happening, but I started talking about something, and then the person just completely asked me a question totally like in a different direction. So that's another idea, is just to have a couple of questions for yourself. So like, if, like, again, I know especially
Derail.
people that like
Derail people.
aren't don't have a significant other. It's like, so are you dating? And it's just like, wow. And then just ask a question like, I've just been reading the most amazing book, and just start launching into a new conversation. I mean, that's the other part. We feel so programmed into, we have to answer the question, and we can't like cut people off. Like, give yourself permission
Yeah.
to shift the conversation.
Derail. I like the derail.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Make it good for you. This is, people asking questions also are just reflecting to us where we're at a lot of times. It's like, if we're feeling insecure about, either what, if you can't get pregnant, or you don't have a significant other, or you don't have a job, like, we're kind of like, there's like this neon sign like, oh God, I don't feel good about this. And so that's it's almost like they're just doing their part. They're just playing their role of you exuding that. So I love what Golden was saying too, is like, pick a new path. Like what do you want to talk about, and just shine and exude that.
Yeah, because you have a couple of days to get strong in that new foundation of visualizing what you want to create and writing it down and creating some clarity. So if you clean up, like Lisa was just saying, I was just going to touch on that too. I love that you brought that. If you could like realize that people are just reflecting those insecurities that you have inside. So if you actually could stand in your power in the next couple of days through visualization, through meditation, through deciding that this is what I really want to create for my life, then the conversations are going to be totally different. They won't even
Yeah.
ask you questions that would make you feel uncomfortable. Remember, your fears are what creates too. So if you're afraid that somebody's going to ask you about something, they are going to ask you. So
That's right. Oh my gosh.
there is no fear if you're prepared. You've got your kind of your tools in your backpack and you're ready to go.
Absolutely. I love that so
Awesome.
much.
Jenna's
Yeah.
was great, and I'm not sure. I'm going to let you answer this one again. What to do about, see, I'm so not political. Like you will not you won't engage me in a political discussion because I'm not political. But she said what to do about political discussions that happen at Thanksgiving dinner table that actually get people upset. So I like the rule. I mean, I like having a rule. Like there's no political discussions at the Thanksgiving table. They do not belong there, first of all.
No, I agree.
But
I
I know
agree.
some people, like, that's their life, so I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't have a family that's super political either. So I'm lucky for that, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking about, again, it's hard because I know if you're going to your parents' house or, there's these authorities that you're not in charge of, it's not your Thanksgiving dinner, right? So you
Right.
can't really march in there and say, this is the rule. But I would say if somebody brings up a political comment or starting that conversation, if you have it within you just to say, you know, can we just talk about this after dinner? Because I really want to just be focused on our meal and our time of thanks right now. And to me, that's just gonna take us down a different path. But that's hard to say.
Yeah, it is
But
hard to say, but that's what it is about, standing in your power and asking for
yeah,
what you want. And that's what the Real Ones is all about.
yeah.
I love that you touched on that, and I want to just touch a little bit more and say, be aware that you can pre-pave energy. So all the things that we're talking about when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to holidays is we're creating from past experiences. So you have to take yourself out of the story of what's happened in the past and allow yourself to visualize on how it's really going to be, because this gets you ahead of the energy and it allows you, it may not happen exactly the way you visualize it, but you're lining up with energy and you're letting go of the fears and the past experiences so you can create new. Because remember, we create new in every moment.
Mm-hmm.
So if we
Mm-hmm.
bring all this baggage to the Thanksgiving dinner and unpack it on the table, that's what we're going to experience. If we step back and say, no, this is how I want it to go, it can be really enjoyable, really enjoyable.
I love that idea. I even love the idea of, like you said, there's a couple more days before Thanksgiving. So sit down in the next, the next couple nights or in the mornings when you wake up and visualize how would you like your perfect Thanksgiving to go? Like you said, pre-pave it. Just imagine who's there and what a beautiful conversation and, all this food and the Thanksgiving. And I think it will really help you be able
Keep
to
it.
create that. Yeah.
And I also love writing positive aspects. So take each family member and just write a couple of things that you love about them, because that will align you with that energy. And then when you step into those situations, they're going to show you that because you're training your focus. So that's also one of my favorite things. So I love that idea.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, Laura Lee. Laura Lee is amazing. So she said, I feel that my constant state is of a high vibration. However, LOL, yesterday morning and this morning, I started off with a fantastic meditation. I could feel my vibration completely elevated, ready to begin the day. Well, I could see my patience waning, slowly getting knocked off my high and ending up in tears, screaming, bringing myself back around slowly but surely, saging the house and reminding myself of all the things I'm grateful for. So my question, what might be happening when this is going on? Is it up-leveling? No mud, no lotus, I suspect. So I thought that was really interesting. I just intuitively for Laura Lee, I just got the suspicion and the hit that she's just releasing some low level stuff, because when we start to raise our vibe, we still have some low level energy inside of us, from past experiences and traumas and things like that. And Laura Lee is a very avid meditator, so she's been working on this for a while. So of course she's going to be hitting these highs. When we start meditating and we have a practice of meditation, you're going to hit highs. Like you're going to be like Lisa in the morning, where things are just like coming and you're listening to your intuition and things are getting better and better. But then there's like this thing that happens in the universe where it's like, well, how do you feel about this? Like, how do you feel about this? Because it's all about what's going on within. So it's like, yeah, you look really good and you look really happy and you look really high. It's not a test from the universe, but it is like a question of your vibration. It's like, how stable are you? And if you're not stable, it's okay, because it just means you have some releasing to do. And I shared last year, I got the stomach bug 3 times. And actually I had the stomach bug on Christmas Eve.
Yeah. I remember that.
Christmas Eve. And then I got it a couple weeks later, and then I got a couple weeks later, and I hadn't had it in 10 years. So it made me feel like, okay, this is not about catching the stomach bug. This is about, think about it when you have a stomach thing, like you are releasing energy. So my belief about illness now, any kind of head cold, anything like that, is that we are just releasing low vibration energy so we can step even higher into these light bodies. And what would you say about that?
Yeah, my mind is just kind of went blank on that. So yeah, when things start to show up, I truly think it's a lot of times. So this is just popped into my head. A lot of times it's collective energy that's going on around us. And you and I do this a lot. Like all of a sudden we just get this overwhelming feeling of kind of doom and gloom and just, you know,
that's what I was thinking. This
vibration
morning for you was like maybe this Monday energy, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And then, but then we'll like text each other and be like, oh my God, how are you feeling? Oh God, I just, you know? And so to me, that's kind of a collective consciousness energy that can flow into us, especially when we're high vibe, because.
And maybe we're helping clear it.
Yeah. You know? The brighter you shine, the more attractive you are to kind of that dense, darker energy, because it wants to, you know, it wants to be lit up. And so sometimes I think it can be that it's just like, because you're so open and you're so embracive of this moment, you know, there's this collective consciousness energy that sometimes is running rampant, and we just kind of, it's like a breeze, right? It just goes right through us and to us. So I think the thing is to just be super compassionate to yourself. And I think that's one of the things I wanted to bring up in this whole thing is and I'll just talk about myself. I mean, I am so busy trying to be my best self and do all these practices. And every day I'm like trying to find a new, you know, mantra or, you know, yoga pose or, you know, meditation
program
right. Like, hello, how about just giving myself a hug and saying, wow, you're doing such a good job. And you don't need to like be this perfect person. And because I definitely have the perfectionistic, you know,
me too.
thing in me. And I think we're so hard on ourselves. And so, you know, like Laura Lee, here she is, she's having a great day. And then all of a sudden she feels like she takes this nosedive. It's like, wow, just feel in that moment. Don't push it away. Don't resist it, but just be like, wow, I'm really feeling kind of the other side of the coin right now, and I'm just going to breathe through it and just let it be there and just let it pass through. And I think that helps shift it quicker than like resisting it and trying to, you know, trying to wrestle it.
I'm so positive, I got to stay positive, you know, or else I'm a failure, you know. I loved you did a podcast with Magic the other day, and I listened to it, and he talks about, you know, just getting in tuned with where we're feeling stuff in our body. Because, you know, that's very telling. Like if you're feeling something in your heart, it's different than if you're feeling something in your abdomen, because you've got your power center and you've got your love center. So it's like, you know, am I feeling this because I'm feeling unlovable, or am I feeling this because I'm feeling low in my self-confidence? So that's important, to go to that place in your body and ask for it to be released. And just getting in tune with that inner self, you know, that inner wisdom.
Well, and it just makes me think too of the yoga teacher this morning talk about us in crystallized form. When we have that energy, that sadness or, you know, like anger or whatever, and if we don't sit with it and let it dissipate, it crystallizes in our body and creates all sorts of havoc. So it's really good in the moment.
That's where bad moods come from, right?
Yes. And then they start to fester.
A bad day.
That's right. And they start to fester, and they start to create, you know, all this kind of negativity. So it's so much better as soon as you notice kind of a, you know, a down feeling or whatever, or sadness, just let it out, let it feel it, cry if you need to cry, you know, go hit a pillow if you need to. But yeah, don't let it take over.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. So we have Jennifer, and she says some help on finding and staying in gratitude for the moment during the holidays would be much appreciated, as the holidays are stressful, often don't go the way we'd hope, set off triggers that we can manage easier during other times of the year. So I think what Jennifer is saying is, you know, there's this level of stress vibration that goes along with the holidays. And there's also a belief system that the holidays have to be stressful. you know, everybody gets in that hustle and bustle. We have songs about it even. And we put ourselves under these like crazy expectations to spend more money than we have and to give gifts because we have to give gifts. You know, I like stepping back from all of that. My husband and I decided this year that we're going to give experiences to our kids, that we're going to do more things than giving and spending all this money on things. They're all traveling, so for them to take stuff with them is a pain anyway. So just the little things, I like to get little things from them to open. That's exciting, but to have experiences. So like all of the programming around these holidays being stressful is so unnecessary. It's so unnecessary. So I would lighten your load. Like if you've got too many people to visit, there's too much expectation. You've got to start standing in your power about what works for you and what feels good for you. And then changing kind of the scope of your holidays if you can get your family on board to not have this huge stress, because everybody's feeling it. And, you know, the credit card debt is insane. And it's just like, it's so just unnecessary. We got to take our power back. We really have got to take our power back and make decisions based around peaceful, joyful holidays, because that's what was intended, I think, when the holidays were created, was for peace and joy, right? Love, peace, and joy. Like that's what. And then the other thing I would just say real quick is just the being present, being really present and in the moment, instead of thinking about what the next thing is and the next thing is and what I have to do in my to-do list. You know, just being, if you are like making cookies with your kids, like just being really present to that and just really enjoying it. And my favorite thing right now, and some people say, oh, that's the next thing I want to talk about, but it's too early for Christmas music. I've been putting Christmas music on and I've been cooking like crazy. And it's just, it has felt so good to me to do that. So do what you love and let the rest of the stuff go.
Yeah, I love that. That's so good. Well, one of the things, if people haven't seen the video I posted this morning in our Real
that was
group,
so good.
It is so good. It's basically anti consumerism at the holiday time. I mean, literally the guy like wakes up and he's wrapped up in a Christmas present. He wakes up, he's like, oh my God, I'm alive, you know, and then his wife wakes up and he pulls the wrapping off of her.
So good.
And then he goes out and turns a light switch on and there's wrapping paper around. Oh my God, we have electricity and it goes on and off. Like it's so brilliant. And I just wanted to reflect because one year my family flew from Connecticut to Colorado and surprised my brother, which was so much fun. My brother and his wife and daughter, and we showed up as carolers, like with hats and things on, and then they were just so surprised. So then my mom was flying in the next day, so he wrapped us in wrapping paper, just like this video. And so we were next to the Christmas tree when my mom walked in, and oh my God, it's gonna bring me to tears.
That's
but
so great.
She walked in and she's just like, oh my gosh, what are all these? You know, and then she goes over and she starts taking the paper off. And she just started screaming with joy and just so much. And, you know, we were all in these wrapping papers. So I love this video and I want everybody to realize, like, we don't need any of the commercialism. And yet there's just, again, this conditioned collective energy of just, you know, buy, you know, Black Friday, Monday, Cyber Monday, you know, all of this stuff. It's like, everyone just take a deep breath and just like participate at the level that brings you joy, not at this frenetic pushing, you know, this whole thing. And so, and she specifically asked about gratitude. Start now, start doing a gratitude journal of just, you know, what are you grateful for? Is it electricity? Is it having a shower in the morning? Is it your cup of coffee? Like, slow down and be in the present moment. That is so key to the holidays.
So true. And there's so many things that we take for granted every single day. And when we tend to get in that like depressed state, we forget about the beautiful people we have in front of us and the beautiful home and the water and all the things that we really take for granted. So I think that was such good perspective. I absolutely loved it. So the other thing I wanted to touch on when it comes to the holidays, because this is pretty big around here, California is awesome when it comes to Christmas lights and stuff. Like they start early. Like they started the day after Thanksgiving. People started decorating. Stores started decorating. And
wait, you mean Halloween or Thanksgiving? We haven't had Thanksgiving.
I mean Halloween.
Oh, okay, you mean Halloween. You said after Thanksgiving. I'm like, what?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Thanksgiving is getting run over these days because it's just people have said, forget it. We're going to start as soon as Halloween's over.
I think it's just the consumerism probably.
Yeah, it is.
But what I've realized is a lot of people are in resistance to that. And they're like, no, I don't want Christmas yet. We can't. Why are you trying to rush this? And I'm like, why are we in resistance to something that is the most supposed to be the most loving, giving, wonderful time of the year, right? Like that's part of our programming is this is supposed to be the most wonderful time of the year. So we've been playing Christmas music and I've just really loved it. And instead of being in resistance to it, which we tend to be for what reason, I don't know. I'm not sure. Because Christmas,
I can talk to that.
because Christmas is stressful, right? Or Christmas isn't what it used to be. So people dread it because it's not, you know, your little kids and the fun and all of that, you know, Santa stuff. So it's like really taking a stock in what we have and what we can create right now. It's just different. It doesn't have to be miserable. Please speak to that.
Well, and as you said, it's like dragging the past behind us and then dumping it in front and then crying because it's not the way it was, right? It's about being present in this moment. And so, yeah, so as far as resistance to holidays, I mean, I got divorced. I moved to Hawaii. I'm here on my own. I don't have any family here. And so, yeah, the holidays, they're hard. And I do have resistance to listening to Christmas music and even the holidays in general, but that's because I've drug my pack with me and I, look at it and I'm like, oh my God, my kids are grown and I don't have any traditions. I've let go of 99.9% of my stuff. So I don't have holiday decorations or, so it's my choice. Do I want to wallow in this kind of sadness and,
despair
and this negative energy, or like for this holiday, my housemate and I decided like, let's have a friend, what is it called?
Friendsgiving.
Friendsgiving. So we're inviting people over and making it a festive holiday. And to be honest, I've never been a big one in the holidays just because it overwhelms me. I think I'm so sensitive. It's like, and fortunately my first husband who passed away loved the holidays. So he did all that good stuff for me. And my second husband was great too. He loved to cook those big meals, but not me. So thank God for Whole Foods. And they have the best, by the way, if you need a great meal, Whole Foods does an amazing job. So that's what's happening.
I consider that, but I do like to cook. So I think it's important for people to realize, like, maybe there are years that you need to grieve. Like the first year that we were in California, it was really tough. And I think we kind of went through a process of grieving the big family holidays together. And what happened in that was I romanticized about those big holidays together because I kind of forgot the stress and the getting the house ready. And, you forget all that. And it's like, oh yeah, that wasn't as great as my mind is remembering it to be. So we do that too. But I think it's important for us to get into like, this is what it is and I get to create it. So whether you're by yourself, you can do a spa day for yourself, take a bath, read a book. Whatever it is that go for a hike, whatever it is that you love to do, instead of feeling alone and miserable, you have the potential to create anything without family obligations, which I think is kind of cool. You don't have to spend your Thanksgiving with people that are going to get into political discussions or drive you insane about, what's going on in your life. So I think we have to get back into this like power state. And I think you're doing a great job with that, Lisa.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And it's, obviously getting easier as the time goes on because it's really about being in this moment and almost like if we could have amnesia, right. And forget that everything happened before this moment. It's all brand new. It's happening right now. Like, oh my gosh, like this morning after yoga, I came out and, I was just like, oh my God, like there's Haleakala right in front of me and there's the ocean and my mind was blowing because it was like almost all new. It was like this brand new moment of just gratitude and celebration. Right. And so that's another thing too. When you walk in for your Thanksgiving, look at it as this is a brand new moment. Don't drag your bag and throw it out in front of you and then say, oh my God, here we go again. Like, no, make it the way you want it.
It's like I have an opportunity to connect with people on a totally different level than I ever have before. And I was thinking the other night, we went to a Thanksgiving celebration for my daughter's dance team. And we don't know a lot of the parents, but the ones we know, we love. And a really cool thing happened. I met this amazing woman who has basically supported her family on writing books. So her and I are getting together. It was very synchronistic. She's like, you're an author, I'm an author. Oh my gosh, we need to talk. And she's got all these helpful, and we'll probably have her on the show. She was just like, oh my gosh, I just connected on such a cool level. But I had my dinner, and I was so happy to be there too, because I was like, God, this is so great, because we don't have family here. And just to be with people just felt so good to me. So I had my plate and I walked into the kitchen in this gorgeous home. And the two boys who lived at the house that were 21 and 18 were sitting at the kitchen table. And for a second, I was like, oh, I should go find someone. And then I'm like, you know what? No, I'm going to join them at their kitchen table. And then a couple more women came over. And we had this great conversation with these two boys that were in college, and they were sharing their stories. And I thought, how cool is it? Just sitting there talking to them, how cool is it? Just people in general, and just the way they think and the way they process, and just to be able to be in that moment, you know, just sharing life with someone. It's so valuable. And I think we do take a lot of that for granted. Yeah. So maybe you could look at people differently and connect with them on a different level, and just like open up your heart instead of feeling like it has to be this way, or, you know, they're never going to change, because we change, and the way we change changes other people.
Well, and to get curious, right? Get curious and ask questions, which I mean, you had mentioned that the other day. Before we go on, there's some people on live. I finally figured out. So if I turn my volume off on my phone, okay, cool, I can see the live. And so Jenny, hey, Jenny, she says, aloha, you've got split screen. Yeah, we got that going this morning. And Raina says, good morning. Virginia asks, Jenny asks a great question. The only reason we gain weight is emotions, question mark. So do you want to talk about, I don't think it's the only reason, but it's a big reason, especially if you.
Well, anytime you're taking on extra weight, it's because you've got to think about like the heaviness in your life. If you're experiencing heaviness, like heavy emotions, or I think a lot of times people ignore their emotions. And so they're going to be more, heavy laden foods are going to be more attractive to someone who's not paying attention to what's going on within. Mm-hmm. If you're clearing your energy continually, you are going to be attracted to lighter foods, and you're going to be attracted to physical movement of your body, because you're more in tune to the body. When we meditate, we're actually going into the body. When we're up here all day and in our mind, and we forget about, that's a great to gain weight. So if you're having trouble with your weight, I would definitely say start going within and asking those questions, and then realizing that you're on a journey with your physical body just as much as you are with your emotional body. Mm-hmm. And that those two things intersect, that they're always intersected. So if you have something going on in the body, whether it's illness, whether it's extra weight, whatever it is, it's always connected to our emotional field, because we're one. We're all one. So, we've been taught in our medical professions that they're separate. That's the problem. That they're going to give us medication to fix whatever's going on within. And it's really like, if we would go for hypnotherapy, if we would go for energy releasing, if we would just go within and ask the questions within, many of us would heal ourselves.
I love that. Well, and it's so cool. I just heard this the other day that a couple people, they just look at food as energy, and we're energy bodies, right? So they eat anything they want, they drink anything they want, and it doesn't affect them, because right. They realize what it is. And I feel like I've been very blessed. I mean,
I still want to get there.
I'm not there. Yeah. Well, I've had so many things go on in my life, but I am blessed. I literally look at food as energy. Yeah. And fuel. I guess I've always called it fuel. And so, I mean, I've never had a weight problem. I am so blessed to be able to eat what I want, basically, whatever I want. But I've been finding, like, it's refining, like the whole alcohol thing. Yeah. It is poison to me. I mean, I used to always, have a glass of wine with dinner or whatever, but as I've become lighter and lighter and more connected, even a half a glass of wine, I just don't feel good. It like just makes my body, my physical body just dim down. And I get a severe headache for hours and hours the next day. So it's just not worth it to me. And I feel so high vibe and excited, without it. Like, who needs it?
So why do you need it?
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, again, I mean, obviously people gain weight for all sorts of reasons, but a huge one is emotional. And if you've ever watched that show, I don't even know if it's still on anymore, but what is it?
Yeah, where the Biggest Loser.
The Biggest Loser. People, I mean, when they work with them, it always comes down to like stuck emotion that they had when they were children, that they were abused, or they had, unloving parents, or something happened to them. They lost somebody in their life. And so that's why they put on all this weight, because they're trying to, guard themselves against all of this hurtful pain.
Yeah.
And it always came down to emotion.
Absolutely. Without a doubt. Was there anything else?
Yeah. Let's see. Jennifer says, greetings from Southwest Florida. Hey, Michael. Okay, he tagged somebody to be with there. So Raina is watching, Paul is watching, awesome, and Melinda's watching. Hey everybody, shout out to everybody watching us live. But yeah, that looks like everybody. I think I touched on everybody. If I didn't mention your name, it's because it's not showing up right now on my phone.
Yeah, so if you guys have more questions about holiday stress, my number one advice would be, like, now start a meditation practice. 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes of just breathing and focusing on your breath. And when you have thoughts come, just kind of letting them go as they come, just bringing yourself back to your breath, bringing yourself back to feeling your body. Lisa and I are working on some incredible meditations that are going to actually help get into your subconscious. So we're working on that right now. And we're also working on this free webinar that we're going to send out to you guys. I forget when we said we were going to do that. We're working on it to... Do you remember?
Yeah, no, I don't remember.
It's going to be really soon, because we want to be able to prepare you guys to bring in 2020. So it'll just be a free webinar where we're going to give you guys exactly what we do on a daily basis to create this high vibrational state where you can bring in joy, you can bring in abundance, and you can let go of lack and misery.
Yeah, and pre-pave your early 2020, because again, generally to me, this whole time frame from starting now through Christmas is just kind of like sliding into home base, and everybody's just
the momentum. We've got to create the momentum for what we can't start on January 1. Say we're going to do this, and this. It's about setting up that intention and that momentum right now. It was so cool. I started journaling again this morning, and I haven't journaled. Let's see, the last time I journaled, I think, was 2017.
Oh my gosh.
I know, because you know what? I do my Facebook posts every day, and that's kind of like gives me my writing. Like, I get my writing out and my channeling. And so today I looked back at my intentions, and like every single thing that I said happened. It was so cool, like living in a beautiful home in a beautiful neighborhood. And these were all things that I was at the time really living in fear, like that are we going to be able to do this? We're living in this apartment. It was a beautiful apartment, but we were still living in an apartment and trying to make our way and navigate this big move, and getting my daughter here, which we got her here. She left again. Now she's coming back. So. And just all these, my SUV, which at the time I didn't even know what I really wanted. And I ended up with a cute little Mercedes SUV. So just all these intentions that I said, the girls having friends and feeling like they were home, which totally happened. So it's cool to look back on your intentions. So I'm like, okay, this stuff works. And so I set all my new intentions for moving forward in our relationship and my relationship with my kids and my husband. So it works. Writing is the strongest form of focus. So let's get it done.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, yeah, I'm thinking we should maybe December 1. I don't know. We'll definitely let you know in the real ones. And again, please invite your friends, anyone that you know that's high vibe, that wants to be in a community that's supportive, and
or just use a boost, can use a new perspective, who's interested in personal expansion and just growth, and we're starting to wake up, and it's so cool to be driving a train of people who are just ready for this expansion and growth. So we've got a lot of things planned, and we're super pumped. And next week we have a great guest that we're really excited about. I think she's going to bring a lot of stuff to the table. So yeah, and who knows? You may see us again this week. You just never know.
That's right.
You never know with us. We're
so
running
always
intuition, right?
That's right. We're just following where you know, the energy leads us. So this is amazing.
Exactly.
So remember,
always
what you focus on
expands.
That's right. All right, guys, we love you.
Peace.
Peace. Okay.
I totally forgot what we were supposed to say.
I know, me too. But I was like, wait, I think if I say this, let me just double check this is gonna go finish on the live. We might still be live just because we don't know. I turned off live stream. And meanwhile, we're still recording, so maybe I should stop the recording. Okay, good. It did start live video. The video has ended. Okay. 78 views. Wow.
Yep. 48 minutes. Great.
Fantastic.
That was fun. That was a lot of stuff.
Fantastic. Wait, just let me. Well, should we keep recording? Because now this is like after, it's like bonus time.
You think we could do something with that?
I don't know what state, you know, it's like, be sure to go watch the video or the podcast because we have more information at the end.
Yeah. Private convo.
Oh, should we? Yeah, exactly. Well, we could do like a little meditation, or I could pull some cards. You want me to pull cards on the holidays?
Bonus.
Hey guys, I'm glad you stayed with us because we are now going to do a little bonus podcast time.
There you go. I love it.
And video. I guess this will be on the video too. So
will this be on the YouTube too?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because this is going to be uploaded. So see, guys, we're just figuring it out as we go. This is like, we're being real. This is how it's happening.
We're just having fun, which I like.
That's right. Okay, so, and you know, this is all about the holiday and all of this good stuff. And the first card is beauty. And again, that's the blockage card. And I think which comes to mind is just the whole idea, like Christmas and Thanksgiving, like there's this beautiful package that the marketing people are selling to us and trying to make it be this perfect, beautiful, extravagant, like you've got to have the perfect meal and the perfect presents and the perfect, no, like that's where we're blocked because that is unattainable, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, just watching or thinking that is just gonna
make you sad.
Totally. Because nobody can attain that. Like all of this marketing is just like literally.
Well, and it creates comparisonitis, where we compare ourselves to people and what they're experiencing. And especially on social media, like our social media presence is so a little convoluted. Although I say that and it's like, I really am as happy as I put on social media.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
But it's true. It's like we look at people in these happy little family pictures and all this stuff. And it's like, we didn't hear the political conversations or people having to confess that their life isn't going the way that we didn't hear any of that. We're just seeing pictures and we're making stories about that.
Right.
And it's allowing it to make us sad because we're not in a big family like that.
Yeah. And the fear of missing out and everybody else is doing all these amazing things and you're sitting at home alone. But again, if you are sitting home alone, you've made that choice. Like you can reach out to people, you can invite people in, you can, you can go for a hike, you can do self healing on those days or, but there's really no reason to be wallowing in, negativity.
Well, and I thought,
even though it's a hard time of year.
Right. What I picked up from the beauty card is I was thinking about last night because we went down to the harbor and the lights that California is just amazing with the lights. I'm sure a lot of places are, but like the harbor is just like crazy lights. And just like, are we noticing the beauty around us? Are we really taking stock in just like, even if you're, if you're in a cold climate, the beauty of snow and the beauty of a fresh storm and, that winter landscape that is quite beautiful, and if you live in tropical places, like our flowers right now are just, my goodness, just so beautiful. And so looking around you, the beauty of your landscape, the beauty of the people in front of you, just all that we get to experience, the beauty of turning your lights on, the beauty of turning your hot water on,
Yeah,
all of those things
exactly. No,
that we don't
I love
appreciate
that.
until they're gone.
Yeah.
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 All right.
That's really, and I think you're absolutely right, because we get caught up in this whole whirlwind of the holidays, and we forget to stop and slow down and look at the beauty that is there. So
Yes.
it's kind of this double-edged sword, right?
Yep.
It's like on one hand, it's like, oh my God, I can never attain what it's supposed to be. But on the other hand, it's like, wow, just take a deep breath and look and see. And again, it's gratitude. Go back to that gratitude journal. That's like, to me, the best
so
thing.
important.
So that brings us to the action card, which is action. Right. Which to me is exactly what we were just talking about, is, purposefully create what you want to create. Purposely, write down your gratitudes, notice the beauty around you, notice what it is that makes you feel good, and who you want to be around you and surround you, at this time of year.
Decorate your house. I love Christmas decorations, and you can do this on a low budget, something small. If you don't feel like, oh, I want to do a big tree, do a little tree. Do Christmas lights. Christmas lights change the vibe of your whole place. So just put Christmas lights around, and just, my daughter did that in her room recently. She said she hates the lighting in her room, and she just put Christmas lights all around, and it's so cozy in there. Now she just, loves hanging out in there. So just do things that are going to make you feel, and you don't have to buy things necessarily, but as far as like decorating goes, I always decorate in my home just because I just love the feeling of that. I love, the warmth of it, and, the fire and the kitties and the blankets and all of that stuff. Like it just makes me feel home. So make your home more homey. That's an easy thing to do, I think.
Yeah. And even if you don't want to do the holiday season, I mean, just, make your home more homey, like Goldyn was saying. Like you can, it doesn't have to be red and green and all of that stuff. I'm a pretty much of a minimalist when it comes to decorations and things, but it's just fun. It's like fun to go get like a little pine, a little pine tree, like that's in a pot or whatever, and just put little, decorations on, or, again, I know there's other, I don't want to be exclusionary, but whatever fills you up. But, and then,
so would I be an extremist? What would I be?
Yeah, I think you're an extremist.
With my closet full of pillows. I think I'm an extremist.
Yeah, I think you're a decorating extremist. And then the outcome card is compassion. And I think we even mentioned it in our conversation, is to have compassion for ourselves, and to love where you are, and to not be in resistance to what is, and just to really just come home to yourself, and just, be okay with where things are, and not be like, I need to do something different.
Exactly. And feeling compassion for other people, because, as we get into the holiday season, everyone's got a story, and everyone's bringing all this energy to the holidays. So if you're coming up against cranky people, and it's like just cutting some slack to people, and just being like understanding and compassionate, it could change the whole energy of everyone's holiday season. Just offering that to someone who probably really needs it.
I think that's so true. And it comes back to that, pebble in the pond, like every time you go out, like just imagine that you're dropping your pebble and that it's reverberating out. So the more that you can have compassion for yourself and for others, just everything goes more smoothly.
Amen, sister.
Amen. Okay. Well, that's a wrap.
That's bonus, babies.
That's right. There's the bonus. So have a wonderful rest of your day. And
we love you.
We love you.
Peace.